I drive through the countryside of southwestern Ontario, recording those drives, and then I add soothing narration and music to the video, with the narration generated by the AI ChatGPT. This is one of those videos. I wanted to see if ChatGPT could write a story, so I randomly asked it, write a 2,000-word story about an elephant, a chicken, and a star. And this is what it generated. Once upon a time, in a lush and verdant jungle, there lived an elephant named Eliza. She was a majestic creature with a wrinkled gray skin and long, curling tusks that shone like polished ivory in the sun. Eliza was the leader of her herd and all the other animals in the jungle respected and admired her. One day, as Eliza was wandering through the jungle, she came across a small, plump chicken pecking at the ground. The chicken, who went by the name of Chuck, seemed quite content with his life in the jungle, despite the fact that he was constantly on the lookout for predators. "Hello there, little chicken," Eliza said, approaching Chuck. "What are you doing out here all alone?" "Oh, I'm just looking for something to eat," Chuck replied, his beady eyes sparkling. "There's always something good to be found in this jungle, if you know where to look." Eliza chuckled. "Well, I'm sure you'll find something tasty soon enough. In the meantime, would you like to join me on a walk? I could use the company." "Sure thing, Eliza," Chuck said, flapping his wings excitedly. "I'd love to join you." So the two set off on their walk, chatting and laughing as they made their way through the jungle. Chuck told Eliza all about his adventures in the jungle, while Eliza regaled him with stories of her own. They had such a good time together that they almost didn't notice when the sun began to set. As they walked back towards the herd, Chuck suddenly stopped in his tracks, his eyes glued to the sky above. "Look, Eliza," he exclaimed, "a shooting star." Eliza followed Chuck's gaze and saw a bright, shimmering star shooting across the night sky. She had never seen anything like it before, and she was filled with wonder and awe. Do you think "It's a sign?" Chuck asked, his voice full of excitement. "I don't know," Eliza replied, gazing up at the star. "But I think we should make a wish on it, just in case." So the two friends closed their eyes and made a wish with all their might, hoping that the star would grant them their heart's desire. When they opened their eyes, the star had vanished, leaving behind a trail of shimmering sparks. Eliza and Chuck looked at each other, grinning from ear to ear. They had no idea what their wishes would bring, but they knew that they would always have each other, no matter what the future held. As they made their way back to the herd, Eliza and Chuck felt a sense of hope and possibility that they had never known before. They had both learned that sometimes even the smallest and unlikeliest of creatures could make a big difference in the world if they just believed in themselves and in the magic of the universe. And as they drifted off to sleep that night, they knew that their wishes would stay with them always, guiding them on their journey through life. The end. After seeing what the AI ChatGPT had generated, I asked it a follow-up question. I asked, "What was Chuck's wish? Tell me in 500 words." And this is what it generated in response. As Chuck gazed up at the shooting star, he closed his eyes and made a wish with all his might. He had always been a curious little chicken, and he had always dreamed of exploring the world beyond the jungle. He longed to see new sights and meet new friends, and he hoped that the star would help him fulfill his dream. "I wish that I could fly," Chuck whispered to himself. "I wish that I could soar above the treetops and see everything that this world has to offer. I want to be free and adventurous, just like the birds in the sky." As he made his wish, Chuck felt a sense of excitement and anticipation wash over him. He knew that he was just a small chicken, and that he might never have the chance to explore the world the way he wanted to. But he also knew that anything was possible if He just believed in himself and in the magic of the universe. When he opened his eyes, Chuck saw that the star had vanished, leaving behind a trail of shimmering sparks. He smiled to himself, feeling a sense of hope and possibility that he had never known before. The next morning, Chuck woke up feeling renewed and energized. He had no idea if his wish would come true, but he knew that he had to try. So he gathered all of his courage and set off on a journey through the jungle, determined to make his dreams a reality. As he traveled, Chuck encountered all sorts of obstacles and challenges. He had to dodge predators and find his own food, and he often had to sleep in the open, exposed to the elements. But he refused to give up, and he pushed himself to the limit every day, determined to make the most of his journey. As the days turned into weeks, Chuck began to see the world in a whole new light. He saw the beauty and wonder of the jungle, and he met all sorts of amazing creatures along the way. He made friends with a mischievous monkey who taught him how to swing from the vines like a pro. He encountered a family of elephants who showed him the importance of community and loyalty. And he even met a majestic eagle who taught him the importance of perseverance and determination. Through it all, Chuck never lost sight of his dream. He knew that he still had a long way to go, but he was confident that he would eventually find his way. And one day, as he was gazing up at the sky, he saw something that he had never seen before. It was a pair of enormous, shimmering wings hovering above him. Chuck's heart skipped a beat as he realized that his wish had come true. He had always wanted to fly, and now he had his chance. With a joyful cry, Chuck spread his wings and took to the sky. He soared above the treetops, feeling the wind in his feathers and the sun on his face. He flew higher and higher, reveling in the freedom and joy of flight. And as he flew, he knew that he had finally achieved his heart's desire. From that day on, Chuck became known as the Flying Chicken, and he spent the rest of his days exploring the world and sharing his adventures with friends. He never forgot the magic of the shooting star, and he always believed in the power of his dreams. And he knew that no matter where life took him, he would always be guided by the light of stars. I then asked ChatGPT another follow-up question. I asked, what was Eliza's wish? Tell me in 500 words. And this is what ChatGPT generated. As Eliza gazed up at the shooting star, she closed her eyes and made a wish with all her might. She was a wise and respected leader, and she had always been fiercely protective of her herd. But as she stood there, looking up at the star, she realized that there was something more she wanted in life. I wish for a family, Eliza whispered to herself. I wish for a mate who will love and support me, and for a child who will bring joy and happiness to my life. I want to experience the true meaning of family and love, and to create a legacy that will last for generations to come. As she made her wish, Eliza felt a sense of hope and longing wash over her. She knew that she was an elephant, and that she would never be able to have a family in the same way that humans did. But she also knew that anything was possible if she just believed in herself and in the magic of the universe. When she opened her eyes, Eliza saw that the star had vanished, leaving behind a trail of shimmering sparks. She smiled to herself, feeling a sense of possibility that she had never known before. The next morning, Eliza woke up feeling renewed and energized. She had no idea if her wish would come true, but she knew that she had to try. So she gathered all of her strength and set off on a journey through the jungle, determined to find her mate and start a family. As she traveled, Eliza encountered all sorts of obstacles and challenges. She had to defend her herd from predators and find food and water for them. And she often had to lead them through treacherous terrain. But she refused to give up, and she pushed herself to the limit every day, determined to make the most of her journey. As the days turned into weeks, Eliza began to see the world in a whole new light. She saw the beauty and wonder of the jungle, and she met all sorts of amazing creatures along the way. She made friends with a wise old owl who taught her the secrets of the forest. She encountered a family of gorillas who showed her the importance of family and community. And she even met a kind-hearted deer who taught her the value of compassion and understanding. Through it all, Eliza never lost sight of her dream. She knew that she still had a long way to go, but she was confident that she would eventually find her mate and start a family. And one day, as she was wandering through the jungle, she saw something that she had never seen before. It was a handsome male elephant with a strong and sturdy build and a kind and gentle gaze. Eliza's heart skipped a beat as she realized that her wish had come true. She had always wanted a mate who would love and support her, and now she had found him. With a joyful cry, Eliza approached the male elephant and introduced herself. He was charmed by her grace and intelligence, and he knew that she was the one he had been looking for. The two of them spent the rest of the day together, exploring the jungle and getting to know each other. Over the next few months, Eliza and her mate grew closer and closer, and they knew that they were meant to be together. They decided to start a family, and soon they were blessed with a beautiful baby elephant. Eliza was overjoyed at the sight of her child, and she knew that she had finally achieved her heart's desire. From that day on, Eliza lived a life full of love and happiness, surrounded by her mate and her child.